we have to make this unlisted. Boom, boom. Are we not? Why are we not rolling? Are we rolling? Okay, we're good. Oh, okay, we're good. Okay, okay. Alright, and start streaming. Yes. Alright. Welcome back to another Water Change Wednesday live stream. Damn, I screwed that up. We're gonna pop here so I can see it. Come on. See a bunch of people in here already. Welcome. Sorry, we are having a little technical difficulties. Just trying to get something to work, but it doesn't seem like it work. So we're gonna do it the old way. Let me know if you're in the comments below right now on YouTube. Just let me know if everything's good. Tell me that there might be quality. I don't know. So I'm curious to see what everybody says. I'm also gonna go to my homepage right now to see real quick. It looks like we got 10 people watching. We're gonna stream muted there. That's good. Is it me or the audio is a bit off? Is the audio a bit off? Super echo? Echo? Why is it echoing? Oh, hold on. No. How about now? Oh, I think I know why. Okay. What about now? I think I've got an echo. Okay. Uno momento. Should be good now. Let's see. Hell is going on here. But okay. My bad, guys. I think we're good now, though. Hopefully. Let me know if the echo. If not, then I'll reboot the live stream. But no, it's not fixed. Echo? No. Shoot. Alright. Hold on. Let me, oh, it's good now? It's better? Okay. Everybody's saying it's better. I think it's okay now. Yeah? Alright. Cool. We're good. Echo is fixed. I apologize. I don't know why that's happened now. Twice with Serpa Design, we had an echo. That, though, I know because we had a YouTube window open and the audio was playing. And this time, I'm trying to use those third-party software to be able to stream to Twitch and YouTube at the same time. But it doesn't with scheduled live streams for some reason, or at least I haven't figured out how. And so I was trying to get it to work, and my streaming software that I normally use got screwed up, so I had to reset up the webcam. I don't know, a bunch of stuff. And now, so that's excellent. So today's topic, we're going to be talking about quitting the hobby, leaving the hobby. Some hobby. Yep. That is do it with the echo. Yeah, right. So that's the topic of today's live stream, talking about leaving the hobby. Just so I don't get a bunch of people saying, "Oh, are you leaving the hobby?" The hobby. But we're going to talk about people that are, or what makes people leave the hobby, and things that could happen with that, because I know what it's like. Because I had a customer today. Seems lower. It might be, or I might have hit puberty for the first time. Deeper voice. I have a deeper voice. Let's see now. This is up and
give me 1 second. I'm gonna turn the mic off and turn it back on. We're gonna disable. Apply. Okay, so there should be no audio, and then we're going to turn it back on. And okay, see if that worked. If it didn't work, then I just have a deeper voice. Are you the guy that doesn't eat meat? Yeah, that's right. Anyway, so we're going to talk about people leaving. Hopefully that fixed the voice. I don't know. If not, we're going to roll with it. It's going to sound like I'm 20 years older and actually have, I don't know, have, what is it? They call it neck nuts for radios. Anyway, the sound is normal. Alright, cool. Now, what was I going with this? Oh yeah, okay, so a customer messaged me earlier today, and she said, you know, that she was looking to cancel the plant pack, which is the monthly subscription package we have, which is fine, you know, it's not for everybody, and I completely understand that. But she had said in her thing that she was thinking about leaving the hobby, and I was like, whoa, 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 you can cancel, that's fine, but why are you leaving? I want you to stick around. She's been a long time customer, I think almost since we started. She probably ordered within the first couple months that we were in business. So I was like, okay, you know, why are you looking to leave? You know, is there issues or whatnot? And, you know, her response was, it's just life things, you know. She's busy with grandchildren and, you know, a bunch of other life things happening, and not necessarily, I guess, issues. But, you know, that I mean, I've been to that point several times where I thought about quitting and leaving the hobby. Just several instances came up, even before the business started. And I feel like that's a lot of people. And I kind of want to just kind of go through it and my mindset, and then maybe like people will chime in with what they're thinking about, and like what happens with them when they have a situation similar to this. And you know, see where it goes. But the first time that I thought about leaving the hobby was I initially had a 10-gallon tank, right, and with a goldfish, and we wound up getting, I believe it was it was the glow light tetras, the ones that light up under like a UV light or whatever, or a black light. And we got one of those in the goldfish, and we had a little 10-gallon tank. And then I quickly got involved with plants, and I thought it was really cool. And so I upgraded that 10-gallon tank to a 29-gallon tank because I was like, well, I need more space for plants. Like, you know, and the goldfish, after research on the goldfish, wasn't ideal to keep them in a 10-gallon tank. So I was like, all right, get a bigger tank. So we got a 29-gallon tank, and this was at my old apartment. Not being as experienced as I was worried about the heat in my apartment because it was during the summer. My apartment got really hot. Even with the AC, it just didn't work out well. So what I did is I stuck a frozen water bottle in the tank to cool it down, and then I went to work. Now, that's not ideal. What I believe happened is the water bottle actually got stuck up against the glass, and the glass was warm. The ice water in the water bottle rubbed up against it and must have sat there maybe, I don't know how long, but it wound up cracking the glass. And then I came home to literally you know, half of the tank water emptied. Luckily the fish were fine, but you know, it was like, oh man, this really sucks. Like, you know, the floor and everything else got waterlogged and stuff. And I was just like, man, I almost don't even want to keep doing this anymore. It was a really like sucky situation. But then, you know, I kind of got over it, and I was like, okay, you know, shit happens. And went and got another tank, and filled it back up, and I learned my lesson, and it was a learning process. You know, you learn, okay, maybe I shouldn't stick a ice bottle in a warm tank and not be home to watch it, or just let it float around. Definitely a you know, a mistake. I at least that's what I believe happened. I have to assume that that's what happened. When glass is warm and then gets super cold quickly, it cracks, and vice versa. So that's what my assumption was. So we got another tank, and you know, we kept going. My first couple fish that I bought two angelfish from one of the big box stores, and they died within 2 days. That was very discouraging. I almost wanted to like just quit then also, and I was really bummed out about it, especially because I'm like a big animal lover, and I treat the fish as like pets, and like I don't want to see them die. It's a really sucky feeling. I know some people don't care that much about fish sometimes. Like they're like, oh, it's just fish, you know, whatever. I care, you know, they're like pets to me. So you know, that happened. And then so those angelfish died, and then I had wound up getting mollies and guppies, and whether the strain I got was bad or they were ill and whatnot, because this was all coming from the big box stores at the time, they got ill, they died. I had to euthanize a couple of them because they just were not bouncing back, refusing to eat, not moving, whatever. And yeah, and that bummed me out again, especially euthanizing fish. That's no fun. And so I was, you know, ready to quit then also. So, you know, within the first probably 5 months of me being in the hobby, I was ready to quit. It really sucked. all these things that came up. But then, you know, I started having successes, and I started having a nice planted tank at the time, and things were looking great, and I was like all about that. And then, you know, we started the business, and the business was going good. And then, when we set up the old apartment room, the spare bedroom that I had, and I ran CO2 to all the tanks, I wound up gassing my fish, and I killed my 3 Bosemani rainbows that I really liked. They were like my favorite fish at the time, and that really sucked. And I was like really bummed out, and I'm like, ugh, you know, and it got me to the point where I was like, man, do I even want to do this? Like, I'm investing a lot of time. I just killed my fish, and it sucked. But because of the you know, the business that was progressively getting better, and, you know, me realizing where my faults were with the CO2 system and why it happened, I bounced back, and it sucked, but, you know, it was fine. And then more recently, you guys know, when my 55 gallon did the same thing and gassed all my fish. I lost 99% of all the fish that I had in there. I think I had 3 fish that survived, and that was devastating. And had I not had probably all these tanks already set up and everything going, I probably would have quit then too. That was a big blow, where it was just like, you know what, it's not worth it kind of thing anymore. If it wasn't for the business progressing and like this being a possible career in the long term, at least that's what I think it can be, I probably would have stopped then too. But I mean, it's a lot of fun to go through the hobby and experience all these new things, but there's a lot of things that happen too that are negative. You lose fish, your tank, you know, whatever happens, you lose all your plants because of algae. You know, stuff breaks, things happen that affect your house maybe. So really, you know, it's a double-sided coin. Sometimes there's good things, and sometimes there's bad things. So, you know, this particular case with this customer, it came down to time, and that I'm realizing even more, because now I have, you know, Nova, who's a newborn, requires a lot of attention. I also have Margaret, she wants attention. I have Hector, who wants attention. I have the dogs who want attention, and then I have the business and all of you guys that want attention. Not, I'm kidding, but you know, and having to make YouTube videos and do Instagram and Facebook content and stuff like that. So, you know, time is so valuable, and you know, it's to the point where I actually had to take down a couple of things that we had set up upstairs, because there's no time to keep up with them. It's like, what's down here is one thing, but what's upstairs in the rest of the house had to come down. And there are failed projects that you guys have actually seen videos on that I'm actually going to show more in detail what happened with each. But it all comes down to essentially time. You run out of time to do some things when you get to a certain point in life, or you have setbacks, and then it makes you want to leave the hobby. So it's kind of like what I wanted to kind of touch on and kind of explain, and maybe somebody's watching this that's thinking about, oh man, you know, I'm having disaster after disaster, or I just don't have enough time. And when it comes to disaster after disaster, they're gonna happen every once in a while. It's just bound to happen. Like right now, I have a filter that's not working properly, and I know one day if I don't fix it soon, something's gonna happen. So I have to get on that. But you know, things get better. You know, you have fun, and you got to think about how much time and fun you have. And like, yeah, maybe this one thing happened and it really sucked, but like that one thing, let's say out of a year, and you get a year of enjoyment out of it, that's one thing, you know? So I think that you should think about that if you're like, oh, you know, I killed my fish, or, you know, I can't keep stuff alive, or I'm having, you know, I spent all this money on plants and they all died on me. It's just, you got to do your research and you got to learn as you go. I know I've done the same thing. I've killed plenty of plants. I've killed the fish. You know, it's just a kind of revolving door with a lot of things. But eventually it stops. You learn different things. And then when it comes down to time, downsizing is an option. I don't think, like, unless it's like because of, okay, I don't have the money, maybe I lost my job, or, you know, whatever the case is. that I can't continue doing this. That's, that's one thing. But it's like, okay, I don't really have enough time to maintain. Maybe you have 4 tanks or 3 tanks or something like that. And that could be very time consuming, especially now, like I said, I know that. But maybe downsizing and keeping something smaller that's less maintenance, maybe easier to grow stuff. And then maybe you can still enjoy what you like about the hobby of like keeping something. Whether it just be a normal planta tank with nothing in it, or maybe just keeping a simple shrimp colony of cherry shrimp that you really don't have to do much for, like, a 10% water change every week, if that, as long as you have enough plants. You don't even have to do that sometimes. So, it's just like, think about what you're doing, and if you actually do enjoy it, and like how much time you can spend. If you can say, oh, well, I could spend, a half hour a week, then great. Get 1 tank, and that half hour a week that you have, you can maintain a tank. And I feel like that's, that's like my recommendation. If you have to rethink what you're doing with your hobby, and maybe keeping a 125-gallon tank with African cichlids is too much maintenance for you, maybe downsize and get something smaller, like a shell dweller tank that's super easy, or if you have 3 40-gallon tanks with all plants, and it's always algae after algae after algae, maybe get rid of 2 of them and focus on the one and make that one beautiful, and that's all you need. So it happens. But we're gonna get to some of the questions now and comments that people are leaving. I see a lot of people talking. Is the bun back? No, the bun's not back. I actually have to go get a haircut. My hair is so long right now. Look at this. I haven't gotten a haircut in like 2 months. I actually wanted to go this week, but I didn't get a chance. I wanted to go last week, didn't get a chance. So hopefully I can get it done this week. Let's see. Hey Justin, amazing plants delivered today. Thank you. I'm so glad everything made it as always. Being homeless makes you leave the hobby. That it can definitely do. You can't really keep plants if you're homeless. Or fish tanks if you're homeless. Thanks for the plants, buddy. I'll be placing the next order this weekend. Nice. I had 1,000 jade shrimp. I lost 1,000 jade shrimp. I almost wanted to leave the hobby. Yeah, that sucks. I would have been devastated too there, Dominic. A lot of people jump into the hobby without much thought. Just get a fish and hope they stay alive long enough to enjoy them. Yeah, that's the case. A lot of people, they walk into a pet store and they they get whatever, a tetra or something. They throw it in an undersized tank, and within a couple weeks the fish dies because they didn't invest the time in educating themselves. Fish keeping is not a hobby that you could just buy stuff and have success. You have to do research or have somebody that's educated to show you the way of how to do it. I'm too invested into the hobby to leave. Yeah, well, I mean, that's kind of my scenario, is that, I have all of this. Thousands of dollars have been invested in just this time for the last, 2 years of the business life. It's just, there's too much now to get out, unless it was one of those that business just, it was failing, and then it would be like, okay, we're not making any more money anymore, and I'm kind of tired of doing this. Then I would leave. But that's not the case. We're being, we're growing, we're having success, and things are coming together. We're in the middle of expansions. I mean, you guys might notice this is a new table right here. Like, things are happening that you'll see videos on soon. But yeah, that's kind of when you're invested this much, it's hard to get out. But I mean, coming from a normal hobbyist, if you have 1 or 2 tanks and you're just like, I don't know about this, or like, say if you have a 55-gallon tank and you're having you're having bad luck with plants and stuff, maybe downsize to a smaller tank and have success, because like a 55-gallon tank is hard to do a full planta tank if you don't have a lot of money to invest in a good light. So if you go with, like, say, a 20-gallon tank long, which is an awesome tank size for planta tanks, you're good, because you don't have to spend that much money. So it really comes down to what you can afford. A lot of people tell you to go bigger. I don't always recommend that, but yeah. Well, I just used 1 ice cube on the outlet of the power supply. What does that mean? I don't even know what that means. This summer I'm going to get a breeder box and add ice to it as needed. Oh, that's actually a better idea than my idea. Ooh, glad you're not leaving. Yep, we're not. I'm not leaving. I'm just, you know, kind of. Basically, the whole point of this live stream is maybe to encourage those that are thinking about leaving or anything like that. Like, don't give up. Like, we all have setbacks, myself included, and many other people. Like, even, you know, to bring up Joey, the king of DIY, who's probably one of the most famous fish tubers, as I like to call them. You know, he had the incident with his arowana. Shit happens. It's just, you know, things, you can't control what happens. So no matter who you are, what you have, you know, it just happens. Scottish Aquatics says, lost my arowana and my discus, got sick once, and I medicated with a medicine that almost killed them. I wanted to throw in the towel so bad, but I was able to recover all my discus, and it kept my head up. That's awesome. Yeah, you know, sometimes you just gotta, you know, do whatever you can, and hopefully some things survive and you don't lose them all, which is nice to hear. Catfish says, guppy strains from big box stores are trash. I'm never buying from big box stores again. I don't personally know whether it was a strain of guppies. Maybe I just was inexperienced at the time that I had them. But what I think, and this is just my theory out there, and I have no, like, actual facts to back this up, like, I haven't tested it, but I think a lot of the mollies and guppies that are sold in these big box stores maybe more, or maybe in where they come from, have salt in their tanks, because I know a lot of people keep guppies and mollies and betas, and they add aquarium salt, and it's like a common thing, and I often get the question, can I add plants? And not if you're adding salt, because salt kills plants. But I think the salt helps improve the guppies and mollies and betas' health. But when you buy them and you put them in, say, a freshwater tank, they're more prone to disease because the salt helps keep down on the disease. So I think, and that's just the theory that I have in my head based on people that I've talked to, but I don't know if it has any sign, you know, any backing whatsoever. But I think that may be maybe one reason. So yeah. Number one reason why I don't do CO2, I don't need my plants to grow. I am patient enough to wait for the magic to happen. Yeah, you know, CO2 isn't needed 98% of the time. It's only if you're trying to grow really difficult plants. So CO2, unfortunately, in my world, I need, because I need these plants to grow as fast as possible to get them out to people, because we have wait lists 50 people deep for some of these plants. And, you know, it's just, you can't grow them. I can't grow them fast enough. Hence why all these new things like this table and, move out of the way, that rack is being set up. For a couple different reasons, that rack actually, but that's one of them. We're talking about how aquariums are one disaster after another. That we are. My first tank, nearly all my fish died, big box store fish. I was so frustrated with it. Instead of quitting, I bought a second tank and ignored the first one for a bit. Oh, dang. Well, that might be a good method. I broke a rimless tank. This comes from Aquachi Scapes on Instagram. I broke a rimless tank in a move after college and got mad. Yeah, I would be mad too. Especially rimless. Rimless tanks are beautiful, but you gotta be really delicate with them when you move them. A lot of people quit fish keeping due to boredom. Feeding fish and cleaning tanks gets old, but when you bring things in like live plants and need more upkeep, it makes the hobby more fun. That it does up to a certain point. When you have, like, if I didn't have Jake and Amanda, I would not be able to keep up with all these tanks. Like, literally, things would just be out of control. They take care of 90%, probably more than that. I only really maintain 3 tanks that are down here. And it's like once every 2 weeks that I do anything to them. The rest of them, they do like weekly. So without them, we wouldn't be able to have nearly as many tanks as we have down here. I am 10 months into the hobby, lost a few fish and plants, but has seen those as learning experiences. My MTS is still in full bloom. Yeah. You know, it's just all learning experiences. It's like little bumps in the road, but you get over them. Or at least, you know, if you're strong-willed, you do. Some people might throw in the towel. I know I've had that feeling of throwing in the towel before, so. How are the blue bolts? They're doing good. The Fluvolts Flex tank is doing great. Well, we'll do an update video on it soon. We don't really have anything to update just yet. I mean, it's set up, it's running. you know, maybe I'll just show like the growth of it. Can I borrow your aquascaper? I'm giving up on my setup. It's rigged. I don't know what that means. Well, you want to borrow Kevin? Kevin ain't cheap. I have brown algae in my tank. Well, brown algae normally goes away on its own, Ethan. You know, normal just maintenance will help get rid of it quicker. Best substrate for boost or best way to grow it? You can grow it right on rocks. You can just lay it on top of the substrate. You don't really have to plant it. So I need to get a rack like yours, even though it's only 4 tanks. Well, I mean, the rack I have is 440 breeders, and then 440 breeders underneath it, so it's 840 breeders. And then we're eventually going to do another one on this other side of the room here. And then, you know, we have 3 double 75-gallon racks that are being set up now as we speak. Like we just set up 175, which is down there. That little sponge filter that you could see going. That's the 75. That's there, and then we're going to be getting 5 more over the next couple of weeks. Rant. Yeah, rant. It's a rant. I just put frog bit into tubs for summer tubbing. Some of the leaves are melting. Is that normal? Yeah. So when you take any plant, this has to do with any plant, no matter where it's grown, if it's grown in the water, if it's grown above the water, if it's grown outside, inside. When you take a plant and you move it, and this is like every plant. Doesn't matter if it's aquarium or indoor, outdoor plants. When you take it from whatever condition it was used to growing in, and you move it to a new condition that may be different. So if you take a plant that was growing in really bright sunlight, say in a greenhouse, getting blasted with the sun all day, every day, and you take that plant and you move it indoor, and then all of a sudden it gets a lot less light, the leaves are going to change color, shape, size, it's going to grow differently. These are all things that plants go through because they adapt. Plants are very adaptable, assuming that their basic needs are met. So some plants can tolerate a wide variety of light, I guess light brightnesses, from, you know, indoor lighting to outdoor lighting. And when you take that plant out, you know, outside, it's going to be like, oh, well, my leaves are not meant to absorb this kind of light. It's going to melt back and new growth is going to come up. And that's what you really want to look at. And that's how a plant adjusts to its new environment. So I have a 55-gallon. It took about 6 months to plant it fully. I bought some plants and let plants grow and propagate them. I'm still learning every time I look at my tank. Yeah, I mean, I'm still learning too. Like, I don't claim to be an expert. I know a couple things to have success, and, you know, I'm still learning every day. Justin, can you get that red tiger stripe crypt that ADU did in his latest tank? Can not find that crypt anywhere. If you give me the name, that actually sounds familiar. I may have something that's similar. Guppies and mollies are always sick and dying from Petco and PetSmart. I mean, at least in my personal experience, that's why I won't even get guppies or mollies anymore, just because I've had better success with other fish. So, and I know there's probably plenty of you out there that have plenty of you know, mollies and guppies and have success with them. That's perfectly fine. I just, ever since I had bad luck with them, it's just been kind of like a bitter taste in my mouth. When I first started in the hobby with a beta, I had a power outage and my beloved beta jumped out of his tank and died. I almost wanted to quit, but I pushed forward, and now a year later, I have MTS. Aw. Yeah, betas jump. You gotta have a lid. A lot of fish jump, actually. You need to have lids. We really don't run lids on anything. We found, I think overall, Jake only found 1 fish ever. I've never found a fish that jumped out of the tank once it was set up. I've had a couple fish jump out of the moving buckets that they were in when I moved them, and that was my bad for not having a lid on them. In hindsight, I should have. But yeah. I was lucky that when I got my own tanks as a teen, there was actual LFS, not just another chain store within walking distance of my home. Yeah, you know, that's credit to some of the really good local fish stores. I mean, there's some that aren't good, but there are a lot that are good when they're, you know, privately owned, or, you know, some chain stores could be good too. It depends on who's working there. I see somebody that commented that. It definitely depends on who is, who's running the show there. and you know, what they value. If you have somebody that just is worried about the bottom line and doesn't care about the customer, then you know, you have a person that will sell you anything: Oscars in for a 10-gallon tank, or goldfish for a 10-gallon tank, or beta in a bowl, or you know. But then you have those people that actually want to educate you. So I always tell people, because I always see this this brought up on like some of the Facebook forums, that they're like, oh, I went to Petco and they asked me like a bunch of questions on why I was buying a fish. And I'm like, well, that's a good sign. Like, I'd much rather them ask me questions like, hey, what, you know, I see you're buying this beta. What kind of tank setup do you have? Oh, you don't have a tank setup. Well, it can't live in a bowl, that kind of thing. Like, I'd much rather them ask me questions to find out what I'm doing with it, because that means they're asking everybody else that comes into the store. And, you know, people like me that know how to take care of a beta, are completely fine with it. But I don't think people should get upset when they're asked, because it's like, hey, they're actually doing a good job, because they're going to be asking that parent that brings in their 8-year-old kid that's like, oh, I want a fish, and then they're like, oh, well, we'll get a little bowl because I've seen them in, you know, whatever store like that before. They should be fine. And then that sales representative corrects them. So, you know, that's always a good thing to see, and I like that. The method totally worked. Just set up my 6th one, Jade says. Or Jad. Is it Jad? I guess it's Jad. That is true. I live for my plants. I keep fish to have plants. Hurricane Sandy killed the Northeast. There was so many more fish keepers that just quit after that, put a ton of stores out of business. Yeah. Hurricane Sandy wrecked a bunch of things, that's for sure. I wasn't keeping fish at the time when it hit, though, so I'm not aware of the I guess the impact that it had on the hobby, at least over here. I mean, we were right smack in it. Like, I lived in Staten Island at the time. That is where it made touchdown, pretty much. The whole side of Staten Island was flooded. I was working as a contractor at the time. Well, I was working for a different contractor. I work for a contractor still, but at the old contractor that I worked for, I actually ran the project with FEMA to get people's power back up and running along the whole South Shore of Staten Island. So it was intense. I was working like 90 hours a week, I think, or something like that. Like, I had a ridiculous amount of overtime. I was pulling in so much money. It was great because, like, you know, I was helping people. I was making a ton of money. But I remember, a little off topic, so there was no gas on Staten Island. Like, you couldn't get gas, or at least if you wanted gas, you had to wait in line. So the contractor, you know, if it's a union contractor, so if you have your guys that are going to get gas in their truck to do work, they're getting paid to go get gas. That's kind of how it worked. So they weren't going to pay a guy to sit on the line for 5 hours, especially with the way these electricians make money. I think electricians made like $55 an hour. It cost the company like $110, something like that. So I had to drive 2.5 hours outside of the city, like into like, what was it, southeast PA and north, well, going further into New York State up north. I drove in the back of this little work van with the 5-gallon Home Depot buckets. I don't have one, but you know, the regular Home Depot buckets that you get, filled with gasoline. Probably the worst idea possible, because I literally lined the back of the truck with, I don't know, maybe like 25 of these 5-gallon buckets and just filled them up with gasoline. I was at the gas pump in the back of the truck, just running through each of them, because one, we didn't have gas cans. They were sold out everywhere. And two, it was just like, yo, we need gasoline. We're not going to pay all these field guys to go gas up. And yeah, so I was like, after I got done working 12 hours, I was driving another 2 hours to get gas, 2 hours back home, sleep, wake up, and go back and do it again. And I did that for like a week straight. It was ridiculous. But that's my little side story about Hurricane Sandy. So yeah. Brooklyn Heartscape is here. Kevin, he says, wait, you're quitting? Why? Or yay, I guess. Not why. Yay. No, I'm not quitting, Kevin. Not quitting. Sorry. How did my first tank fail miserably? Waited 2 years and I'm back in it. The plants really helped for me. Yeah, plants, to me, it's all about the plants. The fish are cool, and certain fish are really cool. Like the shell dwellers are awesome. The shrimp are super fascinating. The Celeste Pearl Danias that I got, awesome fish. I love those. But I don't go in looking for fish. I go in looking for plants. When I was going into fish stores, I was like, well, what kind of plants you got? Kind of thing. LRB blue shrimps are amazing. Yeah, Lucas Bretz. I haven't ordered anything from him before. I want to. I almost threw in the towel and give up on having any pet due to having put my dog down about 3 weeks ago. Ah, damn. That sucks. Putting a dog down, I can't even imagine, because my 2 dogs, like, I've literally thought about the day, like, when, you know, if I have to put Walter down, because obviously, like, he's 4 years old now. He's got, like, 10 years left. And that's a lot of time, but, like, oh, God, if I have to put him down, I'm going to be absolutely heartbroken. That'll be one of those where I don't want to do anything for, like, a week. I will, like, not get out of bed. You know, hopefully he goes peacefully in his sleep, and, you know, there's no complications. That's what I hope for. Like, I know he's going to die one day, and that's going to be miserable, but, like, if I have to literally take him and be like, yeah, no, you got to put him down, or if the vet tells me that would really suck. That'd be one of those. You wouldn't hear from me for, like, at least a week, maybe even more. That's how, like, I love my pups. So, he may live longer. I mean, dogs are living longer nowadays. I'm sure. He'll probably make it to 14, at least. But I know dogs that have lived till they're 16 or more. I need some red plants. Justin, give me some good options. What kind of iron should I use? Well, see, we're gonna be. I'm doing a video on this, but I want to wait till I have actual like I can show you something, right? I already know the answer to this, right? I don't want to just do a video of me talking and not being able to show anything. So, and I just realized, like, this light is super bright. Let's see if I shine it down like this. Much better. I look like if I look like this, it's like white face. I mean, I'm white, but it like super white ghost faced kind of thing. So yeah, so I'm gonna be doing an experiment where I'm gonna test things side by side and show you the difference of what nutrients do to plants. Because there's a lot of people out there, especially on YouTube and elsewhere, that are throwing out information that isn't necessarily the truth. So I want to do videos to actually show this is why you would use nutrients, but this is why you need this is what you need to have for nutrients to be effective. So, but you don't need any specific source of iron usually. What it's going to come down to is your light. So under low light, if you just have, you know, basic lighting, you could do red tiger lotus, aquarium lily. Those will absorb any kind of trace iron that's in your water already that comes either out of tap, from your fish food, anything like that, or in your substrate. They'll be fine. You can add an all-in-one fertilizer, much like the Vital that I sell, Vital or Vital X, depending on the tank setup. Those will add an iron for you, but you're not going to just throw in a bunch of iron and your plants are magically going to turn red. Turning red is solely based on lighting conditions. The more powerful light you have, it will enable the chemical reaction that's inside the plant. I forget the names of it, but there's a chemical reaction that makes the chlorophyll produce, or it makes it so the chlorophyll doesn't produce nearly as fast. And there's another chemical compound, I believe it's called something that turns the plant red. And that's all based on lighting. Now, you do need iron available for the plant to do its normal, like, growing process. And if you don't have iron, then yes, it may be less red, but it's not going to be the deciding factor. Bugs. I have a project, too, that I'm super excited about that's going to take care of these bugs. That's not going to be... maybe. We'll see. Might be in a week or so. My first tank was a mess, too, 29-gallon, mixed with 2 plecos, 1 biker, or bishar, or whatever you want to call it, 2 cichlids, and some guppies. Yeah, I see this all the time. People, whatchamacallit, people put Noah's Ark in their tank. They get 2 of every fish, or they get 1 of each fish, and they think it's cool. Not cool. I'm sorry if you have that. Do species-specific tanks, you'll be a lot happier. The fish will react more naturally. And we actually have a video because I'll spoil it a little bit. I rescued a fish from somebody, and like I'm going to show you what he looked like when I rescued him and what he looks like now, and I'll also show you the tank environment that he was in. And truly a different fish now, and absolutely amazing. But that's a video that I've been putting off to make, but yeah. When you move garden plants, it's always good to water them. For the most part, yeah. Whenever you move plants, except for succulents and cacti should not be watered when you move them, because so when you want the soil to completely dry out before you move succulents and cacti, because if they're wet, the roots are going to be more likely to break, and then they'll be more likely to develop root rot. So you want to move them from pot to pot in dry soil, and you want to leave it be for a couple, like at least a week or two, let it completely dry out. Let things heal, because once the roots dry out, they can callus over, and then you can water them again, and then they'll be fine. But I have cactus upstairs I haven't watered in 3 months, and they're doing just fine. So thanks for that. I see new growth on some of the nodes. New subscriber here. Well, thank you, Prolific Breeder. And I guess if you're new here, definitely hit that subscribe button. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you. Also hit the notification bell, because supposedly YouTube is developing like all sorts of crazy witchcraft behind the scenes, and unless it's like somebody that you watch constantly, sometimes their video may not show up for you. It may not show up in recommended. It may not show up wherever. So if you definitely want videos from me, hit the notification bell so you're notified, and also follow us on Instagram, because like we're live streaming on Instagram right now at the same time we're live streaming on YouTube, so you're not missing that. But also I post on Instagram when a video is out, so you can check that. It's always in the stories, so if you go to the stories where the little red circle is and click on that, you'll always see it. It'll say swipe up, and you can be taken to the newest YouTube video. So there's also like cool little things on the Instagram now. They have like these little, what are they called? What are they? I forget the name. There's something. God, I'm drawing a blank. Highlights, that's what they are. So there's these things called highlights, where it's a bunch of little bubbles or circles that run across your Instagram profile. I have a bunch of things there. We're doing plant guides. I'm posting reviews so you can see what other people are saying about us. Oh, that's actually something that I want to talk about too. We got a couple minutes left. We got 15 minutes left. I want to get through some more of the chat, but I also want to show you guys the new website for those of you that may not have known about it, because I recently updated the new site. So it would be really, I just wanted to kind of give a brief overview real quick of it. Let me move things around here. Yeah, we're gonna close this. Okay. Because I did this redesign. I've been working on it the last couple weeks, so we're gonna add window capture. Window capture. I'm gonna do boom. Can we do it this? Ah, perfect. Okay, here we go. So we got the website here. Can I actually bring? Oh no, if I bring that, okay. So we're just gonna look at the website. So right now, this little message here that says "Welcome to our new site" will eventually be gone. But I just wanted to have that there so people know, hey, like, you know, it's a new website. If there's any bugs, let me know, kind of thing. But so we have, you know, whatever pictures, and this will be changing every once in a while. And then we have some simple icons down here to be led to a couple things like flash sales, signature scapes, food, driftwood, aquascaping tools, etc. We also have our Instagram feed here, so if you ever want to, like, if you're browsing our website and you want to see, you know, what we're doing on Instagram, I'm always showcasing community stuff. You're going to be seeing more and more of our stuff, though, because now we're starting to have stuff that I feel like is nice enough to show. And then we also made it a whole lot simpler to find stuff, I think. We have, you know, plant, scape, maintain, and then more. So more is, you know, you can read all the stuff, FAQs. Constantly people are asking, you know, questions. I'm putting them here, FAQs for stuff. You know, return policy, shipping info, how our plants are grown and all that stuff and what we do. But if you go to plants, we have all plants here, and then they're classified. So you can click on all plants and just be taken to everything. You'll see everything at once, but you could also see them sorted by type. We have our top 10 easiest plants, which I often get the question like, what are some easy plants for me to grow? These are the top 10 that I would recommend to anybody. These are going to be the easiest to grow in almost any tank setup. So like, this is what I recommend. If you're new to plants, go here, pick some of these up. Boom, there you go. We got our plant packages tab, where now I mean, we've had these for a couple weeks now, but we have different mystery boxes. So like, it makes it easier for me to narrow down plants that you should get. Because like, if you choose the beta mystery box, then I know like, okay, he has he or she has a beta tank. If you go with like a cichlid mystery box, okay, you have a cichlid tank. Let me get you like hardy plants that can tolerate, cichlid abuse. So we have those. We got our fertilizer tab here. This is all the fertilizers we sell. We got Plant Pack, which is the monthly subscription box. This easy plants, I may take this out. This is all the easy plants, not just the top 10, but like everything that I feel like is pretty relatively easy. Doesn't need like super high light or CO2 or all that. Then you got pond plants, because we got pond plants in this week. We're actually already sold out of 4 of them. We have 2 more left. I'm getting more in this week coming up. Not this current week, but next week we'll have more in. And then I have the in-stock tab, because this was on the old site, and I feel like this is useful because we have so many plants. I think we have over 360 different items on the website, and I think at least 250 of them are plants. So like, if you're browsing and, like if we just went to all plants real quick, this is how ridiculous it is. And this is why, like, there's no better way for me to do it. Like, if we sort alphabetically, for instance, we'll just sort here. Come on. Here we go. Takes a minute. So yeah, so like if you see here, the top row, there's 4 plants out of 5 that are sold out. So like, this could be annoying, at least for me. Like if I was shopping here, this would be super annoying to look for things, because it'd be like, oh wait, that's sold out, that's sold out, that's sold out. And like, you just, every page is like this, like more than half of the plants are sold out because, it's popular. Like these plants go and we can't grow them fast enough. So, I created the in-stock tab because then it only shows you what is in stock at the moment. So like, okay, I'm not browsing just to look at things. Like I want to buy stuff that I can get now versus stuff like I'll be waiting for. So, and then if there's ever anything that you guys want that isn't in stock, we'll go back here real quick. I added this thing a while ago. It's been on here, but in case you didn't know the future, I'd show you now anyway. Like this plant. So you want Alternia Renaki, right? It's all sold out. We have none of it. But if you go down to here where it says out of stock, we will notify you. You plug in your email here, and then as soon as I click the update button on my end to like add inventory, this will send you a notification saying, hey, this is in stock. And like, I mean, we got 54 people that added it to their wish list. You could also put it on your wish list too, which is over here. I don't think I have anything there. And so yeah, so you could add it to your wish list, and then just save it for later. But out of stock really helps because it'll notify you the second stuff is in stock. So that's there. And then I mean, the rest of the stuff, we got signature scapes, aquascaping tools, driftwood, stones doesn't have anything right now, but we'll have stones soon. And then we got just other stuff: snails, rapashi food, shrimp food, gift cards, shrimping add-ons like ice pack or cold pack, and stickers. So that's the site right now. Hopefully you guys like it. And we're back here. Damn bugs, go away. So yeah, it took me a couple weeks to get. Oh, actually, so I initially did this same like website layout. It was slightly different, but it wasn't working properly. There was some issues on mobile. It just wasn't working. A bunch of plugins that I had weren't working. So I had to actually take it offline, go back to the old website the way we had it, and then I had no time to go back in and correct the issue. So just in the last couple of weeks, I've had a little more time that I've been able to get in there, mainly because like Jake has taken over a tremendous amount of work from me. Like he does nearly everything that has to do with like shipping out plants now. Like I barely have to touch it. and like we also hired my niece, and Margaret helps, and everybody helps, so like I have a lot more time to concentrate on the more important things that only really I can do, like the website and like other stuff. So yeah, so things are coming together, so I was able to fix it, which is awesome. All right, let's answer some questions. I got 10 minutes. That was actually quick. I think that took us like 5 minutes to explain. Let's see. Get lots of questions here. I'm trying to find where we were. Okay, here we go. Yeah, I work at Petco, and I ask those questions. It also helps in getting an idea of what their fish keeping level is. Yeah, because that's super important too. I've seen people that are getting goldfish and they have like a little fluval speck tank in their hand, and I'm like, no, you shouldn't. That's not a thing. In the beginning, I killed so many shrimp. God bless them. I almost gave up too. We all just need mentors to start out. Yeah, and that's why YouTube and like Instagram and Facebook, and these are so many like valuable resources. Like, get into them all. Like, there's so many experienced fish keepers on Instagram now. There's tons of people on YouTube that have way more knowledge than like the average hobbyist. There's people on the Facebook forums, especially, that have tons of knowledge that are just it's just a library that you could just go and like post a question and they normally respond like, yeah, this is what I think, kind of thing. So like, you know, oftentimes people ask me like, what's wrong with my fish, and I'm not really that good at diagnosing fish diseases. I'm a plant guy. I keep fish, but plants are my priority. Plants are my interest. I keep fish with the plants, but I mean the fish are always the priority because they're the living, like, I don't want them to die kind of thing. But like, I don't have all these fish. Like, I'm not experienced in every kind of fish. So, like, finding people that can is awesome. Ela said, my local pet store closed, and now the closest one is 29 miles away. I want to quit. Well, that's why you make it a Sunday afternoon event. I was actually, so, in Staten Island, where I lived before we moved to Jersey, the closest store is actually in New Jersey. We had to drive 45 minutes to an hour to get to the good fish stores. I mean, there was Petco, PetSmart, all of them, but they didn't have the stuff that I was looking for. So I had to drive 45 minutes to an hour to get to the stores that I actually wanted to visit. Kevin Outflow was Kevin Outflow video was on point. Yeah, Kevin Brooklyn Hardscape did a good video on outflows, which was really cool. Is Kev the guy that made the scape that you said most people frown upon, but it looked amazing? Yeah. Famous Jones says, who are you, Iron Man or the Flash? Pick a shirt. I can be both. Actually, I'd probably be Flash, because Iron Man's only powerful because he's got money. Flash is a superhuman, so, and what's better than super speed? Like, I could escape a tank in 2 seconds if I was the Flash. That would be awesome. But I'm also excited because Avengers is coming out next week. I have to figure out how that's going to happen because spoilers are a thing. And so I'm going to have to stay off the internet all Thursday night and Friday until I go see the movie, because some stuff is going down in this movie and I don't want it to be spoiled. I will be absolutely upset if, like, as somebody actually spoiled the first new Star Wars Episode 7 for me on Facebook, I immediately deleted them off my friends list. They were no longer welcome. I hate people that do that kind of stuff. Justin, I can have a maximum of 4 tanks. I want 3 live bearer tanks and the other 2, what other would you do? It could be more live bearers. Well, I mean, that makes 5 tanks, so maybe you meant 2 live bearer tanks and 2 others. I mean, personally, I like shrimp right now. Shrimp are pretty cool, and I like microfish, so like stuff like Celesperodanios, Ember tetras, Ember tetras, and like stuff like that. Go with those. Those are cool. No, sorry to hear that, Zingo. I'm sorry. It's never easy, I know. We probably about a year, what was it, a year ago maybe? A year ago we lost one of our cats too. It sucks. Oh. Alright, the live stream on Instagram is down, so this is the place to be. We got 5 more minutes left. I'll get through the rest. I'll get through the rest of the questions here. I just want to bring up. Where's this? Nope, that's the wrong thing. Boom. There we go. Okay, cool. So we got 76 people watching and 45 likes. That's not too bad. I'll take that. Maybe we could get more. I don't know. Jenny, that's horrible. I'm sorry I even brought up the topic of like animals like not dying and having to be put down. I can't even read the comments out loud because I'll start like tearing up. That's how much like I feel for the animals. So I read them. I'm sorry, you guys. You know, it sucks, but like my end goal, like what I'm hoping to do one day, is have a like animal like sanctuary type thing, like. Not just aquariums and plants and stuff. Like I want to be able to rescue dogs and cats and all that thing and rehome them to people that, you know, want them and stuff like that. So it's tough reading those comments. I can't read anymore. Hopefully there's no more as I'm scrolling down here. Wait, is he quitting? I just got here. No, Alex, I'm not quitting. You have to go back and rewatch the whole thing. I want a tall plant for my 20 tall that is sort of bushy. I don't want any valves because I've tried it in my tank and it just doesn't work for some reason. What do you think would be good? Giant hair grass. Awesome plant. You could cut it down to the size of the tank. That way it doesn't get too out of control. Valves get 4 feet long. They're not ideal for a 20-gallon tall. Or an Acris. An Acris works too. Everybody's thoughts on the wall stop method? I've never tried it. I mean, I'm sure it could work. That's why the Kleiner bar sword in my 20 long looks redder than in my 20-gallon, or in my 55-gallon is the light. Yep, that's correct. The light is the #1 factor to deciding the light color, or the plant color. If you don't have good light, you won't have good plant color. And like, so I'm gonna tell you guys what my video is gonna be about. So many people say, on YouTube especially, that when somebody asks them a question, hey, my plant is melting, right? My plant's not doing well. It's dying, right? When a plant is melting its leaves, like when they're turning brown and dying, that's not because of a nutrient deficiency, right? Nutrient deficiency will show on new leaves coming up, right? There will be pinholes, there will be color changes, or the leaf itself, like maybe a slightly older leaf, will show deficiencies too, but it won't melt, right? If it has enough light, the plant's going to grow, and it won't be melting its leaves. But when a lot of people will say, oh, well, your plant's melting, add fertilizer. That's not the way it works, right? It doesn't have enough light. And also people say, oh, well, you need iron for red plants. It doesn't work like that either. If you look at succulents in particular, and I know this because I've done my research on succulents, but succulents, they have a couple different color shades. They have like greens and they have purples and reds, right? If you take a red succulent and you put it indoors and under like low lighting, right, in a room, it's going to grow much differently and it's going to lose all of its red color. The nutrients in the soil are there. Like, it has nothing to do with the nutrients. It has to do solely on the lighting. Aquarium plants are no different. So people that say add fertilizer because your plants aren't doing well, no, not necessarily the case. If you Google online aquatic plant deficiencies, there's a chart, very useful. If your plant is showing any one of those, then yes, it's a deficiency. But if they're turning brown, odds are it's either adjusting to your current conditions, or if it's an existing plant that, well, no, actually it would probably be, yeah, it's adjusting to its current conditions, or you just don't have enough light and it's going to die anyway. Has nothing to do with ferts. You could add in as much ferts as you want, and if you don't have a good light, your plants are not going to do well. Like, solely 100% based on that. And by good light, I don't mean, like, the most expensive light. I just mean a decent enough light that can penetrate through the amount of water that you have. So if you have a 10-gallon tank, that might be as simple as a little shop light. If you have a 55 or 125 gallon tank, that might be something more like a fluval light or a Phoenix light or something like that, or a high powered floodlight. Yeah, you know, those kind of things. So that's, yeah. We have to subscribe to a channel we've already subscribed to. Yes, subscribe twice. Apparently that's YouTube's new rules. Don't really understand why people want to give up or quit right away when something bad happens. You live and you learn. Because it could be discouraging, right? I know people that tried driving cars and they crashed and they don't ever want to drive a car again. Or I've had people ride in cars with people, they get into an accident and never want to drive a car again. They weren't even driving. So it's a bad experience. Once somebody has a negative experience, they're going to always associate that thing with that negative experience. I think it's actually, there's a term for it in psychology. It's associative something. And so, like, and this goes with, like, trauma, like post-traumatic stress syndrome, I can't speak. I forgot the name of it. What is it? Post-traumatic stress syndrome? Is that what it is? PSD? PDS? I'm drawing a blank right now. I apologize. But, like, the thing that soldiers get, like, in Iraq, and they come home and maybe they hear fireworks and they, like, think that, like, they're in the middle of a war zone. Same thing. It's like you associate a negative experience with a negative thing that happens. So, like, you know, it's possible. Website looks good. Your website is dope. I love how user-friendly it is. Thank you so much. Yeah, so the things with the website now, the new website, is like the old one was nice in the very beginning when it was just a lot less stuff. And now we have a lot more stuff, so it was like getting cluttered and it was just like it wasn't user-friendly anymore. It was in the very beginning. And then I was like, nope, we need a new layout, new design, make things a bit easier to find and things. And there's also a search feature. I forgot to show that, but you could go up to the search feature and plug in exactly what you're looking for. It'll pop up. But yeah, so I figured let's just make it very simple, very user friendly, and people can figure out how to use it, and that's what we went with. So the website looks great. Love the minimalist design. Thank you. I was about to say I like the site when you said you would show it off. Awesome. What's up, the water box? It's annoying when websites are hard to navigate, though, especially when you are wanting to buy something. Yeah, so that's why we made that in-stock tab. I felt that that was the easiest kind of thing for it. So, holy crap, we have tons of comments here. I am never going to get through these. Okay, we're going to power through this right now. The new site looks great. Thank you. Tank Tested is here. It's definitely looking great. Far easier to shop through. Thank you. Don't forget to hit that like button, guys. Show Justin some love. Thank you. Could you add a filter that will filter by light requirements? So that's something in the works. I want to filter by low light and, well, actually, I just want to filter out highlight plants, I think. So things that require highlight or things that require CO2. And then there will be like CO2 plants and highlight plants. And that way, everything else will be assumed to be low to medium light. So, and low to medium light is tricky because it's like, if you have a decent light, you could grow probably low to medium light plants. And then like when you get into the highlight, the things that really need really powerful light, that's a bit different. So, but yes, I will be adding more. We're going to be working on this. But if you guys have suggestions for the website, email me or shoot me a message on Facebook or Instagram and tell me, hey, this would be a good idea to do, and I'll definitely look into it. Because at the end of the day, things that may be good or things that I might not think of are going to come from you guys, because I'm not the one really using the site every day. It's other people. So if somebody has a good suggestion, like I made a thing for red plant, like I added red there because I was like, wait a minute, how are people going to find red plants? So I made a little thing in there that you can find red plants too. Amani is must have if you want a red plant. Amani is okay. I've had mixed experiences with it. Did he say what he means by quitting the hobby? Yep, earlier on, Nick. You'll have to go back and watch. For the pond plants, how would you recommend using them? Just float them, plant in a pond, or submerge the pot? So right now we actually have them sitting in a little, in like a tray of water, where the whole pot is in the water, but all the foliage is above water. On them, I tried to be as descriptive as I could with the description of, like, is this a plant that floats on the water, like the sensitive plants and sensitive fern floats along the water. Aquatic mint can be like planted in a hang-on back filter, and it'll just like engulf your tank, which is going to be awesome. I'm actually going to be using it for a future project. I think it's a sweet looking plant, and it's actually aquatic mint you could eat, you could use as an herb. Just don't use it if you use really like strong chemicals in your water, such as Chem XL or any sort of carbon, liquid carbon, or like any sort of fish medication. I wouldn't eat it if you're using that. But if you have like a tank that's all natural, that you're not adding anything to, other than like I guess prime, you could maybe get away with, you could actually use it as like mint. So, and it smells delicious. And also sensitive fern, I think it's the giant plant or maybe the regular sensitive plant. That's actually a Chinese, I think it's Chinese. It might be like Chinese or Asian in general, one of them. Use it as a vegetable. So I didn't even know that was really cool. So yeah. I liked Amanda's question in yesterday's video so much that I went and bought some dwarf sedge. Well, thank you. Brittany, I believe it is Mouty, B Mouty. Yeah, a lot of people actually. So somebody commented that we were picking on Amanda. What you guys don't realize, Amanda dishes it out just as much as we dish it out to her. Like she has claws. All right, she's not innocent. She just doesn't. She doesn't let it be seen on videos. So now I'm gonna have to like prop up the camera like one day when she's not paying attention and like get it and then be like, ha! Now I'm gonna expose you, Amanda. But we're all like friendly. Trust me, like. Amanda is way cool, like, and so is Jake. Like, we like bicker like it's like a little family here. We like to have fun. Like, we're not. There's certain people that don't like to show that fun side of like working together. They want to like censor their business, especially here on YouTube. And like, I don't want to do that. Like, I feel like you guys can like. Of course, I gotta censor some of the language because it's not like advertiser friendly, I guess. And can like really affect YouTube algorithm and stuff like that. But like the fun, like us picking on each other, I don't have a problem showing because like we're like a little family at the end of the day. Like we all have fun. Like if Amanda didn't want to be here, she doesn't. She has 3 other jobs. Like if she had any issue with us, she'd easily quit. I always ask her too. I'm like, Amanda, one day you're just gonna quit on us, and she's like, no, I can handle it. I'm like, no, one day you're gonna quit. I know it. And she's like, no, I'm not. I'm like, okay. So, my Indian water spray has some new growth. It's coming in white. Seems like it otherwise healthy as are my other plants, but it was originally growing green in the water. So if it's growing white, it could either be too much light or it might be low in nutrients. That's when a plant changes color, sometimes it could indicate nutrient deficiency. What are some of the best fish stores in your area? Absolutely Fish and Fishtown, USA, New Jersey. Okay, we're 8 minutes over this, so I'm going to power through the rest of these here. Justin and the tolls to get back. I used to live in Great Kills, yeah. Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, that's right. If you the fish stores I have to go to, I had to pay tolls for the bridge, which is like $8-9, and then I had to pay Easy Pass, which is like tolls for using the highway. If any of you are unfamiliar with it over here, that was like another $5. So I would have to pay like $15 just to go to the fish store plus gas. So the Waterbox says he can spoil Infinity War. I will ban you, Waterbox, forever. Jenny says, I'm never going to have kids, just going to have 30 dogs. That's the same way I am. I want to have 30 dogs. Does red light promote redder plants? Not necessarily. Post-traumatic stress disorder. There you go. That's what it is. PTSD. There you go. I don't like the new site, Justin. Not enough balloons. Needs more balloons. We all we all float down here and need more balloons. I'll add more balloons. All right, guys. That's about the end of all the. How's the multis doing? They're good. That's about it for this live stream. I'm 10 minutes over. Thank you so much for hanging out. I think we got a lot of good stuff going on here. If you're new here, like I said, hit the subscribe button and the bell so you can make sure you get other content and know when we go live. Check out the website. We'll have more pond plants. I don't know if I said this earlier. We're gonna get like 15 more new pond plants in next week, or roughly around that. Like, there's gonna be more plus what I already have on the website. So if you have a pond, or you want to use them in like a hang on back filter, or I don't know, for like a weird like half water half not setup, then yeah. I think that's it. Thank you so much for hanging out. Remember, don't quit. Just adapt, much like plants do, to their environments, and don't dose fertilizers to fix your plants when you don't have a good light. So, I think that was the moral of today's story. We'll see you on the next live stream next Wednesday, and I gotta go film tomorrow's video, which I don't even know what it's gonna be on yet. So we'll figure it out in about 5 minutes. Later.